Hi, we're at Maxwell Food Center. I'm Wesley Green. This is Untethered.
Good morning.
And good morning.
Well,
And
evening
this,
to you.
yeah, evening for me. I'm at Maxwell Food Center in Singapore. This is our last episode in Singapore before we cross over into Malaysia. And I'm eating because we just had a bit of an error. We're about 25 minutes into the show, and I just realized I never hit go live. So, was there anyone waiting? I don't know. I hope not. I think I lost people.
I'm confused.
Yes.
I am confusion. But was that being recorded, or was it just supposed to go live and it was just showing a schedule? It's not recorded. Oh my God, everyone missed that wonderful guy who was proud of his business and his time there. You should just go do a selfie.
Shame. Okay, we can do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was great. He was telling me all about the food. I got to shoot them putting the thing together, and it was great. And it was not recorded or broadcast or anything.
That's okay. It was special, and people should know it was special.
Well, I gotta say, I feel like the stress from the whole China situation is that I'm handling it, but at the same time, my head is totally frazzled. I don't even know what's going on. I'm surprised I'm able to make it here on time.
Oh, right. I mean, you're doing better than the average person would be doing. I know that. I mean, luckily you've lived in Asia for long enough to at least know you're safe, but you need to get your butt out of there into China, and it is increasingly difficult. There's always some extra thing. It's always something. If it's not one thing, it's another. But no, seriously.
You're right. I mean, it feels like we've gotten down to the wire on this. And I really thought we were there. We were done, ready to go. And then the embassy here surprised us with, we're not gonna do any visas that aren't for people from Singapore. And I was like, well, that means I can't go anywhere and get the visa. That's always the policy. But anyway, yeah. So I'm stressed and distracted, and that's all I can chalk it up to. I don't know. I just didn't.
Well, and then we're ready. We're going to have to just do the backups. Like if there's, backup upon backup. The first resort is please try and do the letter, which you're going to do this weekend to them, explaining your situation. Ask the consular to provide an exception for you so you can go through. And maybe Mama Fish could give a letter along with the PU letter, maybe some kind of something saying, hey, this is our situation here, to verify. I mean, obviously it's verifiable since they are, claiming that you will work for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've got every kind of document possible. The rule doesn't make any sense.
And then just be ready for them to say no.
Even if I had just flown here to vacation in Southeast Asia before I was going to China, to wait till the last minute and then go, the last step, and then go, well, we're not going to give you the visa here just because it's an embassy. You've got to go back to your home country. That would be insane. No, nobody do that. Like if they had gone through this whole process with the school and already flown here and then told by the Chinese embassy, we're not gonna issue this because you can get it in your own country. Nobody would fly back to the U.S. to get it and then back to China. They would just be like, well, sorry, you're out of teacher. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
Right. But in your case, you definitely don't want to not go.
I definitely don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to be here.
Just to catch anybody up that's listening to this, if they're watching in the future, I have a job in China, and we've gone through 5 months of paperwork to get me in, and now the very last thing is to get the actual visa. And we went to the embassy here in Singapore, which is the only one that's open, and they're like, "Nah, we ain't gonna do that."
Right, and since that is the Chinese application center, so that is China saying, "Oh, we won't accept any locations visa application if you no matter where you go because you need to be in your home country."
And I
It does
wrote the
say
embassy.
that they would provide that could provide exceptions, but that's just on a case by case basis.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to do. And she said if I include a letter, then they'll read it, and the ambassador or somebody will make a case by case decision.
Right. So I just love your livelihood and future dependent upon a stranger and their subjective opinion of the severity of your situation and the need for you to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That was, obviously I don't love that. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that comes up all the time. It happens a lot that you're dependent on someone else, but it is strange to have that rule set up that effectively excludes me from anywhere on the planet, because I contacted the LA consulate and said, if I do fly back, is it possible for me to get the visa from you? And they said no, get it from Singapore. You can't get it here because I don't have a residence and I don't have a driver's license in the U.S. anywhere.
I mean, we can fix that, but we don't want to have to fix that. We don't want to have to go through that. Now, the other option would have been, or could still be the student visa, but that also costs. So you'd have to be able to go to a school in Malaysia and have them accept you. And then that takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Getting here, it would take about a month, not to get here, but it would cost to get here. And then you have to be here for about a month. It wouldn't take you long at all to get the ID because you don't have to have a license. It just has to be an ID to prove that you're a resident. But
well, you keep saying that, but they said license.
Oh, no. I looked. Believe me, I know. Because I know that they're just like dismissive buttholes because they're like, okay, yeah, you have to have an ID. Not everybody has a freaking driver's license, so the other thing is just but it has to be a verifiable, like a real ID. It can't be like a student ID. It has to be the state ID from wherever you're supposed to reside. And then, of course, I know how to give you a rental agreement and all that kind of crap. So prove your residence, and you can prove that you belong here. Well, not belong here, but that you were born here. You have, your birth certificate and your social. So all of that's handled, but it's just extra crap. And overall, it ended up costing like $35 to do it, but it's a pain in the butt. And then you still have to apply to go to China after that. And here's the kicker: going to China after that from the United States versus like Johor Bahru is ridiculously expensive.
It ain't cheap from here.
Right. And I mean, it's like, but it's double to triple the cost coming from the US to China. Yeah. Or more, depending if you're a Richie Rich, I guess you can, just pick whatever flight you want, but
yeah.
But the student visa thing, like I've been making a little list and I've got little Word documents ready, but the student visa, if you were able to go to the Open University in Malaysia, it's like $450 for that semester. So you'd have to, apply and go to that semester. You don't have to be there for the length of the semester. You just have to have the student visa. Then you can apply for the Chinese visa, which I'm not sure how much that costs, but that's something. And then you have to be able to fly to China from Johor Bahru. Or from wherever, but probably Johor Bahru. Just
Yeah. To your future viewers, I promise before we remembered to go live, this was all about food, and we were doing such a good job.
I
I'm
know.
like, well,
Looking at all the perfect, look at that food over there looks great, and the people were. I mean, there were so many little things about it because the first guy, when you were talking to him, he was proud of his food, proud of his business, has been there for 18 years, showed all the different types of food, and then you looked at a few other places, and then the woman that you spoke with. As soon as you spoke a little bit of, not English, just any, she was like, "Oh,
Jenny,
I like this." Well, yeah, you were trying. Yeah, I mean, she was like, "Oh, he just did not speak English to me," and so I think she was like, "Wait." So she stopped for a minute. Then she spoke to you, and she's like, "Wait a minute." I think she was a little like taken back because she was like, "Oh my gosh, good," because who knows what other U.S. people over there do? They're probably just like talk slow and loud or something. But I like that the mutual respect there. And so that was something important for people to know about how important it is to learn another language, even if it's just the basics. Communication is important.
yes.
Yes.
I was like, I'm glad you're taking this. I'm going to shove the rest of this food in my mouth.
Oh, yeah. What food did you get? What set was it? What meat and sides and stuff?
That's a great question. I feel like he's just hanging out right now. I feel like let's walk up there and ask him.
Yes.
No. Different places have different rules, but it looks like you put your tray away here yourself. Something that people in rich countries get duped into doing because the people that own the place don't want to hire someone to clean up. A la McDonald's. There we go. All right. Now let's flip the camera around and I will see if he will explain this to us because, he's a really nice guy and I liked talking to him. So since he thinks he's been on camera already, we'll
right.
see if we can get him to explain. Sorry, trying to get my mask on. Oh, it's a big book. Oh, it was very good. Yeah, excellent. It was excellent. Oh yeah, touch it. See, that's trash. There we go. Can you tell me again what I? Oh, sorry. Can you tell me again what I had? What are these ones? Yeah.
What you ordered just now was this set C. It's our signature dish.
Okay, signature. Yeah.
Comprising liver roll.
Yeah, liver roll.
Meat roll.
Meat roll.
Egg fries.
Egg fries.
And a sausage.
And then sausage. And we slice the sausage.
So you can see that liver roll. Yeah. Right. You have liver, you have thigh, and a little bit of fat. And it's an egg fry.
That's the egg fry.
After fry.
Right.
The salad cheese. So this one is the sausage. Right. Rice.
Yeah.
This is the meat roll.
And the meat roll.
After fry,
yeah.
This four is our main special item. And it every morning for the past 80 to 90 years old.
80 to 90 years.
Second generation of food. Never employ people.
You're the second generation?
I'd rather say no.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
This is our ex-president.
I was the ex-president. Okay. Wow. Okay, so 80 to 90 years, and you're the second generation.
Wow.
Yeah, you thought he said 18 years the first
yeah,
time.
he said
like,
80. 80.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
everything.
Wow, cool. Let me get out of the way. He's got customers. Okay,
You from?
the United States.
Oh, US.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. Since I was trying to get this. It's in Maxwell Center, in case you missed the opening there. And this is the China Street Fritters. And we saw earlier that Anthony Bourdain has been here, and one of these stalls extra popular. But I gotta say, I mean, that was really good. That was a nice meal.
And that just showed how awesome that guy is, because he even went in depth and showed you each little piece of the meal and told you a little bit more about his business. 80, not 18, but 80 years. 80 to 90. That's a long time.
Yes, it is.
So how did you like it? Was it really good?
It is. It was good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very hearty food. I mean, there was a lot of meat, obviously, and cheese. So I don't know that it's good for a diet, but it was it was good. It tasted good.
Yeah, I haven't seen you eat that around any of these places before. Like that was
that was pretty.
I haven't even paid attention to a sausage before at one of these places.
Yeah, China. There's such thing as Chinese sausages. Although all the ones I've eaten in Hunan are sweet. Hi. I don't know why I'm showing the camera this, but I was thinking of getting a beverage. Let's walk around first. I'll probably get something. I'm just very hot, sweaty. So, I think was it? I thought we walked in and skipped one round, did we? Oh, this is the Anthony Bourdain place. Oh, they got no customers now. See, I would normally be eating right about now, but it seems like they're done. Well, maybe it's just did we get the quote for chicken rice? Can you see that whole thing?
Chicken rice is so fragrant and delicious. It can be eaten on its own. I mean, maybe he said it. I mean,
Well, so what he was talking about was that the add-ons are what make the different chicken rice dishes unique, right? But basically, what chicken rice is rice that's been cooked in chicken stock instead of water.
right. So, oh yeah, that's
So it is really tasty.
It's it ends up kind of tasting like chicken and dumplings, but just rice instead, but without it being like a flour dumpling when we cook our rice in chicken stock. So I'm down with that. I know it tastes good.
Yeah, so it's very good, and makes a good regular meal. Yeah. It's just 2 rows, and yet I still managed to get confused. Is there anything on this side? No. All right, well, we did a much longer stream than than it came out looking. But you know what? This could get more views because it's so brief. Okay, I'm right. There are 3 rows. 1, 2, and then the row with the ladies from Qingdao.
Oh.
The ladies from the beer. That is so crazy to me, because if we had been talking about beer and someone said Qingdao, it would have clicked immediately. But since we were talking about a place, I was like, Qingdao. Boy, that sounds familiar. But she said the food was from Qingdao. Although it did look, I mean, honestly, it looked a lot like stuff you see in Hunan too. So I think it's just some generic dishes for outside of China. everything just gets categorized as Chinese food, even though each region in China is very unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll just have to trust me until we get there, and then we can look at all the different, regional specialties. Well, I think. Yeah, I'm definitely stressed over that because I have forgotten to hit the button before, but I realized that after like 30 seconds, I'm like, wait a minute, I forgot to hit the button. I think we'll start over. We did like 25 minutes of show.
Right.
I was just yammering and prancing around the place like a fool, and all of a sudden realized I never hit it. But yeah, it's definitely stressful. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. We've got a couple more shows next week. I got scheduled. I don't know when. We're currently waiting on a document from China, the PU letter. That's the final thing, the last part of the paperwork, and then we're going to submit with a letter that says, "Please approve this," because I can't go anywhere and get approved like with this rule that you have to be a resident. I mean, it would be absolutely insane anyway to ask a school teacher who's on this side of the planet to fly clear to the other side of the planet just because you don't want to fill out the paperwork. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
exactly what it is. It has to be just because processing. I mean, obviously, because they're thinking we shouldn't have to process this, and then it's going to be. It could be just anybody. So it kind of adds up. But I don't really care what their reasoning is. You just.
I mean, if it were an easy thing, I would do it, or even a possible thing. I mean, honestly, like what you're talking about is not exactly doing everything on the level. It's going and getting a residence permit just for the sake of leaving, which is not why you get a residence permit.
Right.
And it's strange that the embassy is sitting there telling people that that's what they need to do. Because even if it were the U.S., like I don't know if I finished saying it earlier, but even if I went back to the U.S., I would have to, I guess not fake residency, because if you get a bill sent to you, that's the bill.
Be here, yeah. It's like
yeah. But to say you have to be a resident, and then I go get all the documents to prove I'm a resident so that I can leave. That's not being a resident. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make any sense that this is a requirement, but it won't be the first government thing that didn't make any sense.
I know, that's exactly what I expect from any kind of governmental process anywhere ever, especially here though. But so I didn't expect it to be China. But I know at this moment, but this was something I read for Singapore from 3 years ago, even about the it'd have to be long stay resident, student, or work visa that you have to be in Singapore. But if that's the case, we could still do student if it's, affordable enough and somehow workable. But then coming back to the States, you'd have to have enough to be able to come back to the States and then leave again to go to China. Because the paperwork to get to do stuff here isn't the problem. It's the freaking flights to here and back there. Everything's a problem, but I'm talking about the costly thing is the flight to here and then the flight back out to go to China.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping this delay will push us into a period where flights are not as unreasonable, at least from here. I mean, it still could work out, that maybe the ambassador or whoever looks at the thing will look at the letter and go, what a convincing argument. Let's issue him this visa immediately. And, I'll be able to go. And then because of the delay, maybe flights will go down some. Honestly, I'm just hoping at this point. I'm just crossing fingers because this has been going on since January, and if I'm honest, I'm kind of exhausted. I could have been doing stuff for this show every day, 5 days a week, and not burn up energy, but this much energy. It's just the mental like stress of every step is, oh no, you can't do that. Oh, we don't have that. Oh, it started with Vietnam saying, you've been in this country long enough, it's time to leave because COVID's over, which it isn't even now. But
Right.
just before the rates of COVID in Vietnam shot through the roof, they declared it to be over, and so you foreigners have to leave. And so I was like, well, great. Is the border open? No, because COVID. I was like,
Right.
well,
Oh my God.
from that point till now, it's just been one ridiculous thing after another. Nothing is, and I've said many times, nothing is normal, and just don't go on vacation right now. Now, to be fair, things are pretty good here in Singapore, and we're in Malaysia as well. Although we're seeing some rates rising now, everything's open and people can go where they want. And if you're a large group of tourists, you just walk around with no mask, like you're getting dick hole. Those people just did. I don't know
And
if you
it
can
was
see
good
any
in
of them.
Cambodia too.
It was nice in Cambodia. Yeah, Cambodia was actually really great.
I love
If I
Cambodia. Like it was like one of my
I
faves. Yeah.
it would have been a great place in normal times to just spend some time. And even if you went over the visa, it's easy to get across into Thailand or Vietnam, fairly easy anyway, and then come back. Of course, can't do that now. And when I got caught there, that was one of my lowest points because it looked like I was not going to be able to get on the plane, and I would overstay the visa, not be able to get a job, and also not be able to pay the fee and fine for overstaying. That was stressful. That was a stressful moment, but
That was panic inducing. I was
that was
panicked.
panic. I was panicked. Yeah, I was panicked.
Stressful like in X infinity and like,
Well,
yikes.
as I had said before, if we ever get this channel off the ground, we have got some really good training on making travel arrangements. I mean, I don't see anything that could happen well, let me not test it. But we've really been through it. You have been here helping me every step of the way. You've made it possible to stay sane through all of this. If I count as having been sane through all of this.
I think so, considering everything that's going on. Of course, look at who's saying that you are sane. But I mean, I've learned a lot about it. I love that I've learned from this anyway, but I really, really need you to be in China. Like, and of course I can help you if you get here, but also but other people need to help you. And you just don't want to have to rely on that. You know what I mean? And that
Right,
sucks.
right.
And you shouldn't have to. You have a damn job in China. A great job. You have a home there. You just need to get there. But I love that I've learned all this stuff. I mean, this is one of the reasons that people should watch and donate, y'all. You guys, come on.
Yeah, check out the Patreon. I think we're at that part of the show. Again, we're only 30 minutes in, which is kind of short for one of our streams, but I promise we were doing it for 25 minutes before you saw anything, audience. But it is at that point of the show where we say, go to the YouTube page. If you're watching this, you're interested, you want to see another episode, you want me to see me do more stuff and be able to do more episodes, then go to the YouTube channel, go to the top of the banner. There's a Patreon link. There's a link to my Twitter. There's a link to my Instagram, all that kind of stuff. You can become a member on the Patreon. You can follow everything I'm doing, and sometimes just some random posts on Twitter. What else? Share it with a friend if you think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Like, subscribe, share. Find something that interests you the most and just try and watch all the way through and just realize how hilarious we are. But also, it's I mean, I know I have lived vicariously through these travels. I feel like I've gotten to travel, and that's the point of the show, is you get to experience it. It's not just someone telling you what it's like. You can see what it's like. And
right.
And there's more intimacy because you're closer to the people and you interact with these people that are in these different areas, and they're welcoming for the interaction anyway, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, subscribe, get up on that Patreon.
Get up on that Patreon.
Get up on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, check it out. And also, like you're talking about the kind of show it is, it's worth mentioning, at least in passing in every episode, why we're doing it the way we're doing it. You know, I'm a big fan of Anthony Bourdain, and I loved those old shows where he went around the world, and it's a smooth, well-cut, well-edited show, and I couldn't do that if I wanted to, but there's also, you miss something with all that. You get this boom, 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 I'm seeing 50,000 things in 1 hour. And what we do is we go to one place for an hour, like one place he would have been, like Maxwell Food Center. This would have been like a 3-minute segment in his show. And we just go there and we see it in depth. We see the whole thing, what it really looks like. You know, we're trying to live stream the world as it actually is. And I think it provides at least a different view. You know, like I said, I'm a big fan of Bourdain, so I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but honestly, I'm such a big fan of him. I always thought, you know, there's no point in trying to top that show. You know, I wouldn't want to try to redo it and make a better version. I'm not going to be able to do that. So why not take a slightly different route, which is, you know, something that lets you feel like you're there in the interesting exotic place and seeing it. And it is live stream. So if people are watching live stream, you can always come on and comment. That's one reason we didn't like the previous software. There's too much of a delay. I want to be able to read comments that are, you know, put into the machine. If you're making a comment, into the machine. You know, that way we can respond to it. You say, hey, what's that? Or what's the temperature there? Or what's the vibe, or whatever. And I can answer you real time. So it's a different experience to do a live stream than it is to just go out and get some shots and edit together a video, or to get too close and whack somebody in the head with my camera as I ride by. That'd be good. But so that's why we're doing what we're doing. And, you know, we're doing it as I'm trying to get into China. I'm going to try and actually make a few more videos a week than we were doing before I get into China, because I was thinking we were going to be there so quick that I might as well adjust my schedule. But hey, you know, we're here. We might as well get some stuff in Singapore and in Johor Bahru. That's where we'll be going for the next episode. We're crossing over into Malaysia while we wait for the visa. So much cheaper in Malaysia. But Johor Bahru is like a suburb of Singapore, and there's a lot to do there. There's a lot out there. So we're going to go investigate and experience that while we wait on paperwork, and then hopefully in a week or so, maybe before then, we'll be back in here and in Singapore, and I'll have to be here for a week, so we'll just get some stuff here. And then let's not say distant future, but at some point I will be back in China, and I feel like that's just going to be a treasure trove of sites that people have not seen. Yeah. I think that's going to be a really good source of material for this channel. What do you think?
I think endlessly China. Basically, there's going to be so much to do there. It's huge. So yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, China's a huge country.
And in the not so distant future.
Oh, let's hope it's not too distant. Man, I've been waiting on this since January. I will say, when everything finally came through the last time, like in 2018, when I was in the U.S. waiting for my work visa, when it finally came through, you know, you just sit and wait 5 months there, and then when it came through, it was like, we got the flight done. Get on the flight. Let's go. We're gonna mail you something on Friday. Grab it out of the mailbox and then head to the airport. And that's what I did. And then was out. So just because it doesn't seem like anything's moving doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's kind of the way China is. It's like nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything. All right.
That needs to happen like ASAP.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. Well, you know, I will say the school has already sent me money for the flight, which then got canceled. So hopefully they'll understand I don't have that money back in my hand immediately. But we're not going to book another flight. I told her, I said, let's not book another flight until we know for sure. But, and I don't know that this is
your fault about the flight anyway. So it's,
no. China Eastern canceled it. And the weird thing is, I booked it as China Airlines, which I thought was a Taiwanese company. And then when it canceled, it was like China Eastern has canceled your flight. And I was like, oh, so they're the same thing. But anyway, we'll find out more about that or less about that later. Well, I think since we did a short, sorry, I just see my mic is in a weird place and I'm afraid it's not coming through good. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So maybe less about that. We'll talk more about that later, but let's not ruin this lovely ending of the stream that's lasted 15 minutes now. Erica, do you have anything else to say to our lovely viewers of the future?
Oh, lovely viewers of the future. I implore you, really, honestly. Patreon, folks. Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you're interested in the show, that is a great way to support it. And when I get to a stable location where I can, I'm going to order the stuff you get through the Patreon, because there are goodies in the Patreon that you get for subscribing. This is the whole reason you do it. Well, that and to support the show. But I can't show them to you because, we're migrating around all the places. I'm not in a stable location, so I can't show them. But hopefully when I get to China, I'll be able to have them mail the stuff to me so I can say, hey, look, this is what you get for the Patreon or with the Patreon. All right. Well, anywho, enjoy the next video.
Jag är där, och kan man kommer då se upp